Hi, this is City Attorney John Russo for Oakland, California, and this is another report that we're doing regularly on important cases that our office is involved with for the public to know what it is that we do and what those issues are that are impacting the city in the courts and in the various legal systems. And to help you understand, it's important that we show you some really compelling visual information.
My view is also that nobody is above the law, and if there are clear instances of wrongdoing, that people should be prosecuted just like any ordinary citizen.
Police, politicians, top county and state officials, even judges, all accused of illegally getting paid to play. The FBI says corruption is on the rise as the economy worsens.
The more resources we throw towards the problem, I think the more corruption we're finding.
Nearly 1,200 federal, state, and local government officials have been arrested for corruption in the last 2 years alone.
Starting today, every agency and department should know that this administration stands on the side not of those who seek to withhold information, but those who seek to make it known.
This is a commitment to true transparency, not only in the reforms, but in how we get to those reforms.
Oakland City Attorney John Russo, the quintessential mayoral wannabe, has committed political suicide and can never win an elected position with the revelation of undeniable evidence of criminal wrongdoing, as protests and demands for a resignation and payment of damages are insurmountable and gaining meteoric momentum. In documents filed in Alameda County Superior Court and the state of California in the Al-Hakim versus CSAA and the underlying rescue Reuter case, there is now irrefutable evidence that specious Oakland City Attorney John Russo and the City Attorney's Office has been charged with and committed extrinsic fraud, fraud upon the state, subornation and solicitation of perjurious testimony, providing litigation case files and evidence to defendants, spoliation of evidence, fabricating evidence and planning fabricated evidence in the litigation case files, attempting to deceive the public in support of the defendant's litigation theory, calumny, deceit, has committed patterned, willful, criminal, fraudulent, and corrupt deception, fraudulent concealment, committed willful, criminal, and corrupt perjury, perjury by omission, made knowingly false statements, collusion, conspiracy to commit fraud, conspiracy, corruption, corrupt misconduct, prejudicial misconduct, obstruction of justice, bad faith, denial of due process, abuse of discretion, gross negligence, bias, prejudice, incompetence, and a conflict of interest.
You have crossed the line into full-blooded, fire-breathing, stop the black guy at all costs racism. Go the whole distance. Get a hood. And we're
infidel! The events of the past several weeks have shaken the public's confidence in City Hall. Not only that, the latest controversy stirring up City Hall has been an unnecessary distraction and a huge waste of taxpayer resources and time that should have been spent addressing Oakland's many urgent needs, public safety being first among them. Regardless of whether recent allegations against the administration have any merit, there are systems missing in Oakland government that should be protecting us against the kinds of abuses we are hearing about. People are sick of hearing about unethical behavior, nepotism, and abuse of power in Oakland, and people have a right to be angry. And speaking for myself, I share that anger.
If Oakland City Attorney John Russo and City Auditor Courtney Ruby truly believe there is a crisis of lack of public confidence in City Oakland government, that people are fatally mad about the unethical behavior and abuse of power rampant in the city government, that Oakland truly deserves a new day. If Russo is honestly mad about it, that it is truly time for Oakland, and quoting Russo, to get on with it to clean up corruption, that Russo and Ruby truly want to enact and enforce their self-authored whistleblower program, and they sincerely want the public to believe that Oakland city government is operating on the level, then they should start with this complaint to investigate themselves and provide answers as to why Russo and attorneys Mark Morodomi, Randy Hall, Janie Wong, Anita Hong, Sophia Lee, Demetrius Shelton, and Michelle Abney provided the case file to the defendants Stephan Barber and Ron Cook for nearly a year and failed to notify the court of this unpardonable illegal breach in a chain of custody of the file. All of the above have failed and refused to provide the information sought by Al-Hakim, and further, all have failed and refused to appear under court-ordered subpoena for deposition testimony twice and under court-ordered subpoena for trial testimony at least once, and have caused Al-Hakim and family to be forced from their $1 million-plus home, office, and over $20 million lawsuit and multi-million-dollar business for 12 years through the city attorney's violation of the business and professional codes, extrinsic fraud, subornation of perjured testimony, while committing these acts under the color of law with unclean hands, and should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Hi, this message is for Abdul-Jalil Al-Hakim. This is Demetrius Shelton with the Oakland City Attorney's Office, calling in regards to subpoenas that you sent over to our office. Please call me so that we can discuss. 510-238-3493. Thank you.
And after showing some skill at it initially, you have ceased to even be a very good liar.
I do not find your testimony credible.
I don't trust you.
I listen to you, and nothing gets answered directly.
As licensed professionals in this field, these agents cannot claim ignorance of Oakland's law. Many of them have been warned by the city or by members of the community in past incidents that their behavior is illegal. But most importantly, putting aside the law, who doesn't know that throwing a family out of their home for no reason is wrong?
If Oakland City Attorney John Russo can claim as licensed professionals in their field, the Oakland City attorneys cannot claim ignorance, that they were warned and aware that behavior was illegal by Al-Hakim. Everybody knows that committing crimes and throwing a family out of their home for no reason is wrong. Why didn't he simply comply with the many written requests for information for Al-Hakim? How does he justify his, Mark Morodomi, Randy Hall, Janie Wong, Anita Hong, Sophia Lee, Demetrius Shelton, and Michelle Abney's evading the many court-ordered subpoenas to testify regarding their providing the case file to defendants Stephan Barber and Ron Cook for nearly a year and failing and refusing to notify the court of this unpardonable illegal breach in the chain of custody of the file, and avoiding prosecution for a violation of the business and professional codes, extrinsic fraud, subornation of perjured testimony, committing these acts under the color of law with unclean hands, and as a direct and proximate result, have caused Al-Hakim and family to be forced from their $1 million-plus home, office, foreclosed from an over $20 million lawsuit, and multi-million-dollar business for 12 years, and should not be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
You have a right to see documents.
You're probably just a good actor and a damned liar and a con man who then pretend to atone, who then publicly promise good behavior, and who then revert immediately to the rapaciousness that is your only skill. You, sir, all of you, need to be fired.
When we get into court, if we're right, we will be sure that the full force of the law is executed.
If Oakland City Attorney John Russo sincerely feels litigants should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, should he, Mark Morodomi, Randy Hall, Janie Wong, Anita Hong, Sophia Lee, Demetrius Shelton, and Michelle Abney not be prosecuted for their providing the case file to defendants Stephan Barber and Ron Cook for nearly a year and failing to notify the court of this unpardonable illegal breach in the chain of custody of the file, for their evading the many court-ordered subpoenas to testify regarding their providing the case file to defendants Stephan Barber and Ron Cook, and failing to notify the court of this unpardonable breach, for their failing and refusing to provide the information sought by Al-Hakim, and further, their failing and refusing to appear under court-ordered subpoena for deposition testimony twice and under court-ordered subpoena for trial testimony at least once, and have caused Al-Hakim and family to be forced from their $1 million-plus home, office, and over $20 million lawsuit and multi-million-dollar business for 12 years through the city attorney's violation of the business and professional codes, extrinsic fraud, subornation of perjured testimony, and committing these acts while under the color of law with unclean hands, and should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Our motto in the office of the city attorney is Jus Pro Populo, which translates to law in the service of the public.
This smacks of an attempt to undermine the trial, and the people's work needs to be done.
I think it would be the best interest of the state if he resigned, because I don't think that the public can accept this anymore.
Nobody's above the law, and if there are clear instances of wrongdoing, that people should be prosecuted just like any ordinary citizen.